1-minute summary of 14 amazing books part 2. Number 8, The Elephant in the Brain by Hanson. Choosing this book was a tough task because there are a lot of books out there to fill this niche, but I chose this one because it's the most enjoyable and readable one. Our conscious minds are designed to rationalize away those dark base impulses, which is why we are all animals at heart. As a result, we're all somewhat selfish, impulsive, and overly emotional, but we don't really admit it to ourselves. Our belief systems, mindsets, and attitudes are shaped in such a way that we are able to continue to believe that we are fully rational, altruistic, wonderful beings for the rest of our lives. It basically dissects the whole network of attitudes and beliefs we have that help us see where we are fooling ourselves by pointing out where we are being fooled. Number 9, Nonviolent Communication by Rosenberg. This book talks about how we could love each other forever and ever, and nobody would ever have to be hurt again in life. Obviously, that's not possible. However, I recommend this book because it breaks down how much subtext and meaning are embedded in our language when we talk about feelings, and I've recommended it many times over the years. We'll all say you made me angry or you made me ashamed if that is a very common statement we make. It's a very subtle but very important difference between being made angry by somebody and being made angry by someone else. Suppose that I thought my day was going great, but traffic wrecked it for me. Well, did traffic really ruin your day? Or maybe it was part of the perfect day you had. You're not thinking about all these subtexts and meanings, but he breaks them down line by line, gives tons of examples, and gives you exercises so you understand how you use language, specifically to convey emotions. The book makes some very, very important points about culture in recent decades. When I was your age, I was like walking to school barefoot in the snow. In every generation, the younger generation thinks they have it easy. You're spoiled. You don't seem grateful for anything. In fact, this book contains many psychological studies. In this book, they emphasize that bad behavior on the part of kids is not their fault, but the fault of the parents and teachers. Moreover, the book examines how the educational system has changed over the past couple of generations, parenting styles have evolved over the last couple of generations, and technology has evolved over the last couple of generations, leading to a more mentally and emotionally fragile population. This is clearly bad for everyone. Number 10, So Good They Can't Ignore You by Newport. I think this is Cal's best book, and it was his first. I think people often have this misguided idea that purpose is something you just find. As if you just woke up one day and discovered your purpose. Everything was solved forever. Newport proves that it actually works the other way around. You don't find what you love and then become great at it, it's the other way around. I'm referencing the Hanson book about how we are animals and very selfish. You get good at something, and then you get passionate again. It seems like we tend to fall in love with things and activities that bring us a lot of validation, which gives us a feeling of superiority over others. The point is not that you have to be better than other people at something to love it. It just means that you feel good about it. When you feel competent, you feel like you're accomplishing a lot of things. That's what gives you a sense of passion. That's what gives you the sense that there is a purpose to your life. Number 11, The Psychology of Money by Housel. In a few sentences, I can describe Morgan's book, but he's a finance expert. And it's interesting because finance is portrayed as a science. As you learn more about finance, you realize it is just a form of art. You just choose to believe in certain things, certain philosophical beliefs over others. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? But he goes through a lot of popular misconceptions about wealth and money. How does being rich feel? How should you spend your money? Throughout this book, one of the best moments is when the author points out that the only way to become wealthy is to spend a lot of money. Number 12, The Second Mountain by David Brooks. The book is very well done. It is a life course Brooks himself had to go through, and I think that's what makes it so good. You can feel how personal it is to him. The main thing Brooks has is this little model or theory that he came up with, which claims that people have two mountains they want to climb in their lives. A person's first mountain is the mountain of success in the world. If you want money or prestige, or if you want to build a great career, or if you want to be popular at school dances or whatever, that's your first climb, and you reach the top. When you reach the summit of a mountain, you realize there's a mountain behind it that's just as huge. In addition to that, there is a sense of purpose. It is one thing to have a successful career or make money, but what does that mean? What's the point? You have to go through a valley of nihilism and despair to get to the second mountain, so you need to think about what you're going to do with it, and with whom you're going to share it. And that's the second mountain. You can relate to a lot of what happens in life in this book. I think it's a particularly profound book for people who are in their 30s or 40s and are experiencing success for the first time. But what's the point? I put in so much effort, but what's the point? Number 13, Democracy for Realists by Christopher Achen. It's a little more academic, a little denser, but it's all about how cities, states, societies, nations, etc. make the worst choices when they are more democratic. This is basically just a bunch of research about why people are so stupid, and ultimately they make a point about authoritarianism, which is bad, but giving everyone a voice in every decision is also bad. Like in a republic, authority is delegated to people with expertise, knowledge, and experience, just as it should be in a republic. People with expertise, knowledge, and experience will become great managers, good leaders, and eventually make their way to the top. It's one of the few books I've ever read that has changed my political views. It's something everyone should read and understand. Still, this book is one of the most sobering and eye-opening books I've ever read. It's not that democracy is bad, it's just that if we want to support it, we have to be honest.